On Friday, the Senate Standing Committee on Environment and Communications, including the previous Senator from New South Wales, Holly Hughes, they were presented with the truth on the next generation of nuclear power, the merits of small modular nuclear reactors. They were reminded about nuclear's zero emissions, about its ability to increase baseload power. They were also told that Australia had the largest uranium deposits on the planet and how our vast landmass provided the perfect locations for building reactors and then burying the waste. Speaking on the second day of the hearings was Rob Parker, who is the founder of Nuclear for Climate Australia. He joins me now. Rob, thank you for your time. What sort of a hearing did you get in front of the committee on Friday?
I thought we had a pretty good hearing, actually, Chris. It was great. I felt with the Labor senators, and these are the people, of course, we've got to try to convince. I felt they gave it serious consideration, the points we're making. We're not saying they endorsed anything, but at least we had good professional attention from them, and they asked some great questions, and we hope to be able to follow up with them. It was unfortunate with one of the members for the Greens that she tended to sit on a mobile phone and was a difficult individual to relate to. But
that wouldn't be Sarah Hanson-Young, would it, Rob?
Yeah, it might be. It was a difficult situation there, but it's to be expected, unfortunately. And I will mention something very interesting. 2 weeks ago in Boston, I had dinner with Arti Hajani. He's the vice president of the Greens in Finland, and they are very pro-nuclear. We made a little video, and the young Greens in Finland are full score behind nuclear. So not all Greens are the same.
Yeah, and the same as the Greens in Germany. You know, this is something that the Greens in Australia need to get their head around and grow up about. Now, you've just returned from an international fact-finding mission on this new technology, this modular technology. What were you able to impact or impart to this committee about the merits of these reactors? What
we found was that there's a unit called the BWX300 from General Electric. It is a perfect piece of gear that it's going to be deployed by Ontario Power Generation, one of the largest generators in North America, and also by the Tennessee Valley Authority. And we were able to have a terrific briefing on that. The Canadian Nuclear Safety Commission are currently going through the evaluation of the design of that reactor. And we anticipate that it's going to be built and on the grid by 2028. And it uses equipment that about 98% of the equipment in that reactor is out there in the field now. We were able to go and see the fuel being made for one of them, the GN 2.0 fuel, which GE were making. So this is near, it is real. We had a wonderful tour, a virtual tour right through one of them. And so for Australia, it would be a tremendous bit of gear to be able to build on our grid. And it would not require any further grid extensions.
Yeah, see, this is the point. Can I just dovetail into what you've just said? Yes. For us to rely on renewables, which will not double our baseload power, I'm sorry, if we rely on renewables, we've got to build a whole new transmission network because you can't transfer that energy onto the grid. But that is not the same for these modular nuclear reactors. You could put them where coal-fired power stations are.
Quite correct, and you make a very good point, because what people forget is that transmission and distribution makes up the majority of our bills. And if we're going to go and double the transmission and distribution, we are going to see our bills go through the roof. And that's what these renewable energy zones are going to do.
Yep.
They're going to increase cost, but they're going to despoil our rural landscapes. The small nuclear power plants go at the nodal points of the grid, Chris. They go where we have existing coal-fired power plants. They go there in multiplicities. We might have 4 or 5 at each side, and that would dramatically improve their economies of construction. We can build them around Australia. We could start at the north of Australia, places like Townsville. We could come down through Gladstone and build them wherever we've got good seaside locations. But more to the point, as we found on our trip, that these small nuclear power plants are able to use, if pushed, air cooling. They significantly reduce the water demand, which has been one of the criticisms of nuclear.
Yep.
We can use seawater cooling. We can reduce, if we choose to put them on a lake, we can drop the existing anticipated water demand of, say, a coal plant. We could drop that by 75, 80%. So they are very low water use if we choose to use them that way. And we could pop them on all the nodal points of the grid. And what I mean by that is where our large switch yards are. So down in the region where I live, in the Southern Highlands of New South Wales, we've got good locations down here we could put them, all through the Latrobe Valley, or in the Upper Hunter, places like Liddell, Bayswater, all of these sorts of locations. We have a great many locations that we could use them. In fact, we've got double or triple the number of suitable sites for about the 24 gigawatts of nuclear power plants that we would actually need to get our emissions down under 20 grams of carbon dioxide per kilowatt hour. And those are the sorts of levels we need to get to, Chris.
Yeah, exactly. And the Greens need to think about what the Greens in Germany and the Greens in Finland are doing right now, as you rightly pointed out. Rob Parker, President of the Australian Nuclear Association, thank you so much for your time.
Lovely to speak with you. Thank you.